గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ స్టూడెంట్స్. స్క్రీన్ కనిపిస్తుందా? తిరుపతి స్క్రీన్ షేర్ అవుతుందా? ఆర్ యు ఏబుల్ టు సీ ది స్క్రీన్? నా స్క్రీన్ కనిపిస్తుందా? హలో, కనిపిస్తుందా? ఓకే. గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ స్టూడెంట్స్. వెల్కమ్ టు ది GST and CA class. Today we are going to discuss about how the GST will be levied on import of goods and services. What is the process of calculating the GST on the imports? These points we try to learn in this class. Okay. The government of India rolled out goods and services tax to overcome the challenges faced by the taxpayers under previous indirect tax regime. The issues like tax on tax and multiple taxes resulted in taxpayers paying higher taxes. Furthermore, increased compliance with regard to filing multiple tax rates lead to delays and increased non-payment of taxes. Now, in the earlier indirect tax system, there were several problems like tax on tax, multiple taxes, and etc. As a result of which the tax has been increased. Due to high rate of tax, the traders used to evade tax. With the advent of GST, the government is on the path of bringing a common national market with unified tax rates. Further, it has been able to reduce tax compliance and simplify return filing by going online with GST. Although this has led to increased transparency and easy return filing relative to previous tax regime, there is still a whole lot that government intends to do over time via modifications in the GST Council meetings. So, after implementation of GST Act from July 1st, 2020, the government could simplify all the things. That is, unified rate of taxes introduced nationwide, a single market was evolved, and returns filing process has been simplified, and several things. Everything has made it transparent. Therefore, the GST is successing like anything. But still, there are certain problems in the implementation of GST. The government is rolling out the solutions for these various problems in GST Council. Therefore, now we try to learn the nature of supply in case of imports. In case of imports, how the supply takes place. Section 269A, that is the Article 269A, as per Article 269A of the Constitution, provides for the nature of supply of goods and services imported into India. So the nature of imports to India has been given in the Article 269A of Indian Constitution. Okay. As per this article, any supply in the course of import into India shall be taken as supply in the course of interstate trade. That means the imports, whatever the imports made by the Indian traders from outside India, they are to be treated along with the interstate transaction. Therefore, IGST will be levied on the imports. Here, supply includes the supply of goods or services or both. So, supply means here both supply of goods or services or both. In other words, any imports made into India would be deemed as interstate supplies under GST. So the imports will be considered along with the interstate supplies, and integrated goods and service tax shall be levied on such supplies since imports are treated as interstate supplies. So in case of imports, these imports on imports, IGST will be levied on imports by treating them on par with interstate supplies. Section 7, subsection 2 of the IGST Act further provides that any supply of imported goods that takes place before such goods cross India's customs frontier are deemed as interstate supplies. So, as per IGST Act, any goods imported from outside India, that means if any goods cross the borders, Indian customs frontier, is deemed to be interstate supplies. So, by treating them as interstate supplies, the government will levy and collect IGST. The goods and service tax divides all sales into two types of transactions. We have learned now there are two types of transactions. One is the intra-state transaction and another one is interstate transaction. Intrastate transaction means the transaction in which the seller and the buyer both are staying in the same state. Interstate transaction means it is the transaction in which the seller is in one state, buyer is in another state. That's called interstate transaction. Imports are treated as a interstate sales, which means that they are subject to integrated tax or IGST. That means when you import products, you pay one IGST rate to the central government. So if you import goods, then you have to pay IGST to the central government. This money then is split between the central and states governments, which is considered on the basis of the place of supply. So after receiving the IGST from the importer, the central government will pay the amount to the state government. Okay. Therefore, the trader need not pay separate tax to the state government and central government. Okay. Next, what is import of goods under GST? What is import of goods under GST? What transactions are considered as a import of goods under GST? So there is a definition given in the IGST Act of 2017. The import of goods is defined as bringing goods into India from a place outside India. So bringing goods into India from outside India is considered as a import. Now let us understand how import of goods are taxed under GST, given this definition in the background. So now let us understand how the imports are taxed. So taxes for imported goods. There are several taxes are to be paid if you import goods from some other country. What are those? IGST is charged on imports since such supplies are deemed as interstate supplies. This is in addition to the applicable customs duties. That means on imports, IGST is charged. This IGST is charged in addition to the other applicable customs duty. What are those other applicable customs? Let us see. Section 5, subsection 1 of the IGST Act provides for circumstances when IGST would be applicable. It states IGST is charged on all interstate supplies, goods or services or both, except the supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption. So, as per section 5, subsection 1 of the IG says what are the various circumstances that is to be applicable for IGST. So it states that IGST will be levied on all those interstate supplies except supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption, provided IGST on imported goods is charged. The imported goods, IGST is levied on the imported goods and collected according to the provisions of the Section 3 of the Customs Tariff Act 1975 and on such value as is decided under Tariff Act at a time when duties of customs are charged on such goods under Customs Act 1962. So after charging the duties and taxes as per the Customs Act 1962, the IGST will be levied and collected on imported goods. Okay. So the above provision suggests that IGST is collected and paid only along with customs duty. You know, it is not IGST only is collected. The IGST is collected along with customs duty. In other words, it cannot be collected any time before. That means before collecting the customs duty, IGST should not be collected. After collecting the customs duty, only the IGST will be calculated and collected. So customs duty is collected and paid only at the time goods clear customs frontier. So because the imported goods will goes to the custody of customs officers or customs office. So to clear those goods from the customs offices, we have to pay all the customs taxes. After paying the customs taxes, we have to pay the IGST. Thus, IGST on import of goods is charged in addition to the basic customs duty, that is BCD, basic customs duty. BCD is charged on goods that are imported into Indian territories under the Customs Tariff Act. So, IGST on imports is charged in addition to the basic customs duty. After paying basic customs duties, various customs duties, only the IGST will be levied and collected. Okay. Further, in addition to IGST and BCD, that means in addition to IGST and BCD, basic customs duty, GST compensation cess is also charged on certain luxury and demerited goods under the GST Cess Act 2017. So not only the IGST and the basic custom duty is collected on the imports, in certain cases or in case of certain luxury and demerit goods, one more tax or one more duty is levied, that is a GST compensation cess will also collected as per the GST Cess Act 2017. Now let us know how are IGST and cess levied on imported goods. Let us see how the IGST and cess levied on the imported goods. IGST is charged on goods imported into India in addition to the basic customs duty. Hence, the value of goods for calculating IGST is taken as, so the IGST is charged after charging the basic customs duty. So value of goods for calculating IGST is equal to the assessable value of goods plus basic customs duty plus any other duty chargeable on the goods in question under any law for the time being in force. That means the total value of these three on the total value of all these three is considered for calculating IGST. That's what are the three items? Basic assessable value, basic customs duty, any other duty. So that these three will be clubbed together and on that value IGST will be calculated. Similarly, the value of goods on which GST cess is calculated is, so the GST cess, for calculating the GST cess also, these are the three items will be considered. The same three values. What are those? Assessable value of goods plus basic customs duty plus any other duty chargeable on the goods in question under any law for time being in force. That means the value to be considered for calculating IGST and the value for calculating GST cess is the same. As you can see, IGST is not added to the assessable value of goods for calculating GST cess. So, let us consider an example to understand how IGST is calculated on imports of goods. So, let us take an example how the IGST is calculated on the import of goods. If you see the example, then you can understand in a better way. So, example for calculating IGST on import of goods. So, this is an example how the IGST is calculated. Say for instance, for example, the value of goods imported into India is rupees 10,000. That means we have imported goods worth of rupees 10,000. Following are the rates of duties and taxes leviable on such imported goods. So these are the various taxes leviable and collectible on imported goods. What are those? Basic customs duty. The basic customs duty is 10 at the rate of 10%. Education cess at the rate of 3%. IGST at the rate of 18%. Compensation cess at the rate of 15%. So given this case, so these are the four types of taxes to be calculated on the goods imported to India. Let us see how these calculations are made. So assessable value is equal to 10,000 rupees. That means the value of goods imported is 10,000 rupees. Okay. Basic customs duty. Basic customs duty is 10%. So 10% on 10,000. That is 1,000 rupees. Okay. Next, education cess. What is the rate of education cess? It is 3%. This education cess is calculated on the basic customs duty. So basic customs duty is 1,000. 3% on 1,000 is 30 rupees. 1,000 into 3 by 100, that is 30 rupees. That is one calculation. Next, value on which IGST is charged. So for calculating the IGST, these three are to be clubbed together on the clubbed item. On the total amount, you have to calculate the IGST. Therefore, what is the total value of this thing? 10,000 plus 1,000 plus 30. 11,030 rupees. So on 11,030 rupees, you have to calculate IGST. What is the rate of IGST? Rate of IGST is 18%. It is 18%. So on 11,030 into 18 by 100, you will get 1,985 rupees and 40 pies. 1,985 rupees and 40 pies is the total IGST to be levied and paid. Next, the value on which compensation is charged. For calculating the compensation cess also the same value is to be taken, that is 11,030. So on 11,030, you have to calculate the compensation cess at the rate of 15%. Therefore, compensation cess is equal to 11,030 plus into 15 by 100 is equal to 1,654 rupees and 50 pies. 1,654.5 pies. Therefore, total duty to be paid. So in this example, what is the total duty or tax to be paid by the importer? That is 4,669 rupees 90 pies. 4,669 rupees 90 pies. How this figure has been arrived? The basic customs duty is 1,000. Education cess 30 rupees. IGST 1,985.4. Compensation cess 1,654.5. So if you club together, if you add together these four, you will get 4,669 rupees point 90 pies. That is the total duty or tax to be paid by the importer. It must be noted that there are certain imported goods on which anti-dumping duty or safeguard duty is also charged. In such cases, the value of goods for purpose of calculating both IGST and cess would also include anti-dumping duty or safeguard duty. So in certain cases, there are two more duties may be charged by the customs officers. That is the anti-dumping duty or safeguard duty. In that case, they are also to be considered, they are also to be clubbed while calculating the IGST. That is the value of goods for calculating IGST and compensation is equal the assessable value of goods plus basic customs duty plus any other duty chargeable on the any law for the time being in force plus means these five are to be clubbed together for calculating IGST and compensation cess. Okay, so that's how the duties are calculated or IGST was calculated on imported goods. Then let us learn what is the input tax credit of IGST. How the input tax credit is to be calculated and uh, claimed. The importer can claim the credit of IGST and compensation cess paid at the time of imports. That means the importer can claim IGST and compensation cess at the paid at the time of imports. Further, he can utilize such a credit to make payment of సారీ కొంచెం ప్రాబ్లం వచ్చింది నెట్లో కట్ అయినది. So the importer can claim input tax credit of IGST and compensation cess paid at the time of import. Further, as per the IGST Act, the place of supply of imported goods is taken as the location of the importer. So wherever the importer is located, that place is considered as a place of supply for imports. Therefore, suppose if the trader doing business in the Maharashtra is imported, then the central government will pay a part of IGST to the Maharashtra government, Maharashtra state government. Okay. Next, import of services. What is the procedure for import of services? So the IGST Act 2017 defines import of services as supply of any service where the supplier of said service is located outside India. So if any service is to be considered as an import of service, the supplier of service should be located in outside India. The outside party should supply the services. The recipient of the said service is located in India. So whoever he may be, the receiver of the services should be located in India. And place of supply of the said service is in India. The place of supply should be in India only. Then only it is considered as a supply of service. Further, the nature of service imported, its underlying consideration and purpose determine if a particular import of service can be treated as a supply. Here are various scenarios are defining when an import of service is deemed as a supply. Sometimes there are different ways of treating the supply of services. You see the first case, import of service for consideration whether or not in the furtherance of business. Suppose sometimes the person may be import the services either for business or for personal use. So in that case, there is an import of service. So that will be considered as the import of service. Further, such an import is for consideration, but may or may not be the furtherance of business. If you pay the amount and get the services, if the services are for the development of the business or not, that can be considered as an import. Thus, the import of service in such a case is considered as a supply, and accordingly the IGST will be calculated. This implies that any import of service takes place without consideration is not considered as a supply. It is not necessary that an import of service in exchange of consideration is done for the furtherance of business. So generally we think that if the services are paid, if services are for consideration, or if the services are for business, then only you have to consider them as a supply or import. But it is not true. If the services are supplied without consideration or not for furtherance of business, that services, that imports are also considered as import of supply. So case 2, import of services by a taxable person from a related or distinct person. Suppose in this case, the importer import services from the relatives or a distinct person. Then how these, whether these imports are treated as imports or not? There is an import of service by a taxable person from a related or distinct person as defined in Section 25 of CGST Act 2017. Further, such an import of service is in furtherance of business and may or may not be undertaken for consideration. Such supply, such import of service is considered as a supply. So, if the importer import services from the relatives or distinct persons or imported for furtherance of business or not, it is considered as a supply of services. Next, IGST on import of services. How the IGST is levied on import of services? All import of services are subject to integrated tax under IGST Act 2017. So any import of service is levied the IGST. The importer of services thus is liable to pay IGST on reverse charge basis. So importer has to pay IGST on reverse charge basis because the exporter is in other country. However, there are cases when online information and database access or retrieval services are imported by unregistered non-taxable recipient. In such case, the supplier located outside India is liable to pay tax. Suppose if the importer is unregistered, then the outside supplier, the supplier outside India has to pay IGST. If the supplier is unable to take registration and pay IGST, he will have to appoint a person in India and pay the taxes. Suppose if the supplier is unable to get registration in India, then he has to appoint a separate person who is residing in India and pay the taxes. This is done to make sure that importer is not required to pay IGST while removing goods from custom station to warehouse. So this is due to the restriction made under the Customs Act. So when you are discharging or when you are delivering the goods from the customs frontier, you have to pay the customs charges. Okay, this is how the import, the GST is levied on import of goods and import of services. Therefore, as per the GST Act, import of goods and import of services will attract the integrated goods and service tax. This integrated goods and service tax will be levied on the goods after calculating the basic customs duty and the education cess. So the value of imports, the basic customs duty and education cess, these three will be clubbed together to calculate the IGST on imports. Sometimes there are certain goods and services on which the government will levy anti-dumping duty and the demerit goods duty. In that case, these two are also will be added for the purpose of calculating the integrated goods and service tax and the compensation cess. And as per as the services are concerned, as far as the services are concerned, on services, IGST will be levied and calculated. In case of services, whether the services are imported by paying the consideration or not, they are considered as a import of services. Whether the services are imported for furtherance of business or not, they are to be considered as imports and they are taxed the IGST after verifying the customs tariff as per the Customs Act. So this is how the goods and services are levied and collected the IGST on import of goods and services. So this IGST on imports is generally collected by the central government, and this collected IGST later distributed between the central government and state government. So to which state the amount will be distributed? The state in which the imports takes place, the state in which the imports of goods and services took place. So for that state, the share of IGST will be distributed by the central government. Therefore, the traders or the importer need not pay IGST separately to the state government and the central government. You just pay to the central government. That's a IGST can be directly paid to the central government, and the central government later this IGST will be distributed among various state governments. Okay, so this is all about import of GST on import of goods and services. Okay, thank you very much for attending the class. You know, dear students, I have been telling you that the attendance for online classes, the attendance for online classes should be more than 90%. This is the rule made by the government. Just in the morning, we have received a message from the Commissionerate of Collegiate Education that the attendance for the online classes should be 90%. Therefore, I request all of you to please kindly inform our friends to attend for the online classes. Otherwise, the government may not sanction the scholarship and fees reimbursement. Okay, thank you very much for attending. మెసేజ్లో మీ నెంబరు పోస్ట్ చేయండి. పోస్ట్ చేయకపోతే పోస్ట్ చేసి ఉంటే యూ కెన్ లెఫ్ట్ ది క్లాస్. ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్.